Hi, and welcome to this section. In this section, we are going to create this beautiful website from scratch together. So let's see what we have. This website has 4 pages. It has a home page, an about us page, a services page, and a contact us page. So for example, if I visit the home page, I can see that it has a header, and also it has these elements. Let's visit the about us page. And let's visit the services page. And finally, let's visit the contact us page. So as you can see, this is a pretty simple website. And also if I click on inspect and I click on this button, which is toggle device toolbar, this will allow me to view my website on several devices. For example, if I go here and choose Galaxy S5, I can see how my website looks on a Galaxy. So we can see that this website is responsive. If I choose a different, for example, iPhone X, I can see how it looks on iPhone X. If I choose, for example, iPad Pro, I can see how my website looks on an iPad Pro. So here we have a 2-column layout, and on a mobile view we have a 1-column layout. And also if I click on responsive, this will allow me to resize the website. That's great. So let's go and create this website together. So I will go to brackets, and here I have prepared a folder in which I have created another folder which will contain our images, and I will create another folder for the CSS files, and here I will create my HTML files. home.html. Great. I wanted to show you something. Here if I go to file and click on extension manager, I can install any extension that is available on brackets. For example, I can choose the theme. In my case, I choose a black theme. I can go to theme here. So you have to wait a couple of seconds. And here you can choose any theme that you like. For example, I can choose this theme. When it is installed, I can go to, I think here, themes, and here I can choose the theme. And also there is a good extension that you need to use, which is called emit. So you have to wait. And here if you type in emit and you install it, in my case I have already installed emit, and if I go for example to home and I add this exclamation point and I click on tab, this will create a new HTML file. So let's do it again. In my HTML file, I add this exclamation point, and then I click on tab, and I have a new HTML file. Great. So let's start coding the first page, which is the home page. So here I have the doc type, I have the HTML elements, I have the head elements and the body elements. Here I have the meta element, and for the title I will home, then garden. Great. Also here I will create a CSS file, home.css, and here I will link to this file. So for this I just wrote link. When I click on tab, this will add this element with these attributes, and this is thanks to the emits that we have installed. For example, here if I click on h1 and I click on tab, this will create an h1 element. Great. So here I have the link elements, I have the rel style sheet and href. Here for the CSS file I will choose home.css. And also I have to add the meta element. I will just paste it here. So we have meta element, we have the name viewport, then for the content attribute we have width equals to device width, initial scale equals to 1. Great. And now let's go and see what we have. For this I will choose a mobile first. We will choose a mobile first approach, or maybe I will close this and I will move it here. Great. And also I will move this text editor and I will bring it here. Great. You have to think of any element as a container. For example, this element is a container. In our case, it is a header. This container has two elements. It has this element which has the logo, and it has a second element which has the navigation element. And the navigation element has 4 elements. It has 4 links. And if we move to the second element, we can think of it as a box. This box has 2 boxes. It has this one, and it has this one which contains a button. If we move to this one, it has an H2 and it has an H3. And if we move to the second box, it has a button. If we move to the next box, we can see that this box has several elements. It has an H2, it has a paragraph, and it has several containers. Each one is made of an H3 and a paragraph. So H3, a paragraph, H3 and a paragraph. And also we have another box here, and this box has an H3 or an H4 and a background image. So we have this one, and this one. If we move to this box, it has an H2, it has a button, and it has several boxes. In our case here we have 4 boxes. Each box has several boxes. It has this box, it has this box, and it has a paragraph. You can also think of it as a box, and also it has a button. And also this box contains several boxes. So we have here H3 or H2, we have another heading here, we have an element here which has an image, a paragraph, an H4 or maybe H5, and H5 or maybe H6. And also another box here. And finally, we have a footer which has this box, then this box, and then this box, and finally this box. So enough talking, let's see how we can do it. So I will start off with the header. So we can use HTML5 elements. I will use the header element. Well, I'm sorry for this, I will increase the font size. Great. So here I will use the header element. I will type in header, then I will click on tab. Great. This will create a header. Then this header has two boxes. It has the logo and it has another container. The first box, we will give it an ID of logo. So when I type in this and I will add to it a logo and I click on tab, this will create a div element with an ID of a logo. If I, instead of adding the pound sign, I add a point logo, this will add a div element with the class of logo. In our case, I just want a div element with the ID of logo. So I add this pound sign and I will add the name logo. And when I click on tab, this will create a div element with an ID of logo. Great. And here I will add an anchor element. So I will add a, then I click on tab, it will create the anchor element. So here I will not add the link and I will type in my garden for this. Great. Now let's move to the second container, which is this container. You can use a div element and for example, and you give it the ID of nav or maybe the class of nav, or you can use some HTML5 elements. In our case, we will use the nav element, which is used for navigation elements. Great. This nav element has 4 links. So for this, I will use the list element. Then if I add this greater than sign, then I will add li, the li element, and in our case here we have 4. Then I will add the anchor. So this will create a list. This list has 4 list items, and in each list item we have the anchor element. And I click on tab, we have this. We have the list, then we have 4 list items, and each list item has an anchor. So I will remove it here. Let's do it again. So I will add the list, then greater than sign, then list item, then we have 4. So I will add 4. If you just want 2, we can just add 2, and we have this. In our case, we have 4. Then we have links, and I click on tab. Great. So let's create here. Let's add home, about us, services, and contact us. Let's click on live preview. We have the HTML file that is working. Great.